Hello, this is Nathan Broeckelman, and this is my presentation on helping students realize their learning norms for Modular 10. And the first one we're going to get into is relationships. Now, for relationships, you want to make sure that all students know they are important, whether it's to you or to the administration or to their peers. So in doing this, you need to make sure you're building relationships with peers, teachers, and administrators. And a lot of times, positive relationships are what help students and people in general thrive. So we want to try to really keep positive relationships going on. Maybe inside your classroom, you can do some team building activities to start the school year so that maybe students can get to know each other. It kind of just depends on the size of school you live in. I've noticed when I taught at a smaller school out in Tribune that the building, the building relationship activities helped me learn more about the kids, but the kids didn't really get into them because they've grown up with the same exact kids in every single grade that they've had. But at the bigger schools, it kind of seems to help a little bit more because a lot of times there's some kids that they haven't been to school with yet. So first one, relationship. Second one is relevance. We need to help students understand why this is important, what they're doing is important. We need to be able to connect these life skills with future skills needed to be a successful citizen. And that should hopefully be our goal. Getting all these kids through high school is helping them become successful citizens and contribute to society. Um, and anymore, kids have all the information they need at the touch of their hand. So they don't really understand sometimes why they need to know this, but trying to build those critical thinking skills is key to helping them be successful. The third one is time. Now, time looks different for all students. Um, we also want to make sure we're doing a deeper learning on the skills instead of just scratching the surface on all the skills. Now, that's something that we've really been trying to dig into as a math department at Great Bend High School, is really digging deeper and spending a little more time in some of the lessons, especially the little more important ones that they need to build on for future math skills, instead of just scratching the surface of all the units in the entire Algebra 1 book, for example. And then the next one is timing. Uh, all students have different learning styles. A lot of times in our advisory classes, we give them a learning styles quiz, and then we share that information in a big Google Drives so that all teachers can kind of see how their students learn. And also pacing. Every student learns at a different pace, and we have to remember that as teachers, that sometimes some kids have to take a little bit longer to get something understood, and other times they get it right away. We just have to be a little bit flexible and help our students with timing, as well as just remembering that sometimes they're just going to need a little bit extra time. The next one is play. I said hands-on learning. If you can use some manipulatives in your class, kind of depends on what you teach. Maybe bring some brain breaks. A lot of times, sometimes in the middle of a PowerPoint, if I know it's going to be a long PowerPoint, we'll do random fun fact of the day. And it has nothing to do with math. Since I'm a math teacher, it might be something to do with sports or music or history. If they can get that right, sometimes I give them extra credit. Sometimes I give them a candy bar or a sucker. But just a brain break to help them, reset their mind to keep learning. And then also just know that mistakes are okay and that they need to learn from those mistakes. Um, this way they can just not think as as being a failure, because failure is okay as long as they learn from them. Another thing that I've tried to do in the past, or I've seen teachers do, is if they have an outdoor classroom, or if they can take their classroom outdoors for an activity, the kids love to be able to get up out of their seats and just get out of the classroom for learning. And the next one is practice. Practice, especially as a math teacher, a lot of times some skills you just have to get by practicing the skill. And then when we talk about practice, we have to use these skills for future skills, so we make sure we want to be building on these previous skills. I said here, perfect practice makes perfect. That's a quote by all you football fans and coaches out there from Vince Lombardi down there at the bottom. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And then I had, of course, the coach in me. You always want to give 110% in everything that you do. The next one is choice. demonstration of abilities in multiple ways. And what I mean by that is some students can't just take a pencil and paper test. Maybe they can use a different assignment option. Maybe at the end of the year, instead of taking the final, you give them a project to show you a project option that they can show you what they learn. Or maybe they write a paper if they enjoy writing papers, or maybe they just take the final, or maybe you give them a verbal quiz if they have a hard time explaining things by writing them down. Maybe they can explain the steps to you. But there's always different options, but so many teachers are just stuck in that has to be this way. But as teachers, we have to be able to give these students some choice to help better their learning. And then the next one is authenticity. They want to understand the value that they're doing. What's the value of the work that they're putting into? The next one I said is be you. Like I said there in the picture, 100% original. There's not really a cookie cutter student anymore. You have to be able to adapt your lessons and be flexible to be able to cover all different types of learning styles and different students. And the ninth one is challenge. Expectations, and every student's challenge will look different. Some will be a little bit easier, some will be a little bit harder. But the big thing is expectations. And what I've kind of found in my teaching, in my classroom and on the wrestling mat is, kids will rise to the expectations that you set for them. And the lower you set for them, the lower they're going to perform. So always have high expectations for students. Let them know that, it is okay if they don't get to that point when the time comes, but setting those high expectations is going to give a lot better effort, and the kids are going to be a little more challenged that way as well. And finally, the last one's application. We want real world relation to skills being learned. And in that, you want to be able to show how skills apply or will apply for future learning. So if it's a lesson that you need that lesson for a future skill, explain to that. Let them know that in advance so that they know, okay, I need to focus on this skill so that I can be a better learner for the next skill. Or maybe in my consumer math class, I bring in outside people, like community members, to talk to my class about, different insurances and how they work, or different accounts for money, as in bonds, stocks, CDs, just so that they can hear it from someone else that, this is something that I will actually maybe use in my life, instead of Mr. Broeckelman up there just talking to me the whole time. So being able to apply their skills so that they know that's going to benefit them in the future will always help get their attention and want to help learn there. So that is my 10 norms that we were talking about for helping students realize their learning norms. And if you would like to check out the YouTube video or my references, here they are. And thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.